Hey guys, this is Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and wanted to make a video to mostly highlight this guy right here, this new acquisition. This is the Edge On Up sharpness tester. It's the PT50B. So it's the professional model, like the mid-grade. So it's not the fanciest one, but it's not the low-end one. And yeah, I really wanted to start getting a true idea for the sharpness of my edges compared to other people. And this is kind of the best product out there that lots of people use. So finally got one. And yeah, I've been using it a little bit, been screwing around with it. And then just for giggles, I did a little experiment on the Ken Onion blade grinding here, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. So I've got two knives. The first one is a Carter Cutlery original model. This one was made by one of the apprentices, and they are now a Muteki bladesmith. I think it was Ryan, if I'm not mistaken. And it's white #1 steel, hardened to like 64 Rockwell roughly, laminated between 2 layers of SUS 410 stainless. So it's like the best possible sharpening experience you can have is pretty much with this blade, other than maybe a more experienced bladesmith having made it. Sweet knife. I love the handle on it. It's just Arizona ironwood, desert ironwood. I love this knife. But anyways, so I sharpened this on the Choseras. So I did the 800, then the 3K, and then to deburr, I did a technique called jointing, and that is on your finest stone, you'll basically strop 5 or 10 times until you've got a burr on that side, 5 or 10 times that way, and then flip it a couple of times to whittle it down a little bit. And then once it's just like papery foil, you actually will drag the edge right across the stone. I'm not gonna do it now, obviously. And you basically, you go from having a slight, this is like the foily burr there, and you'll chop it off and you'll have like a plateau. And then once you've got this plateau here, it's strong and there's absolutely no burr, but it's not as sharp as it could be. So then you go back and you'll strop just 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you check. And if you're not, and what you're doing is when you're stropping, you're working these towards each other until they form an exact apex, but not a burr. So you're just kind of sneaking up on that perfect apex. So depending on the knife and the stone, you might just want to do 1 strop motion with it, check. Other side, 1 strop motion, check. And you just work it in there until there's no burr, but it's sharp to where you want it to be. And then sometimes, so on this one, so I did that, and I did 3 stropping strokes per side. And then I did 1 per side on this 1 diamond, 1 micron diamond stick here on this Carter Cutlery. And the edge that resulted is smoking hot. So obviously shaves hair very easily. It'll pop hairs very easily, whittle them, those kind of things. Where am I going? Come on, bring it home here. The aggression. That's where I'm going with this. So the beauty of this method is that even on as low carbide steel as you can have, white #1, other than iron carbide, I guess, but and it's only iron carbide, you can get a wildly aggressive edge on this. So I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna show you the 3-finger test of sharpness, and I watch my finger pads, and you'll see as I draw it this way, it's gonna pull them in that direction. So we're just gonna try this. This is really awkward. Okay. There's no way you can see that. can you see how that's kind of pulling my skin? It's pretty hard to see. So not the best camera thing, but just take my word for it. Ridiculously aggressive edge on a low, basically no carbide steel, using that method. And that's what I prize. I prize a very sharp and very aggressive edge. So now compare that to the Can Onion blade grinding attachment. All of these powered belt sharpeners, my biggest gripe with them is I do have some videos out there on how to get an aggressive edge with these, but even doing that, it's not the same. It's in a notable way. It just doesn't quite cut it for me. So, and that's because I'm a snob, so just objectively speaking, but it just doesn't quite get there. So, excuse me, here's a Messermeister Meridian Elite Stealth 8-inch chef knife. I really like the knife, excuse me, but it has a little bit of a temperamental burr on it. My Wüsthoffs are much better so far. Maybe in more sharpenings I'll change my mind. This thing's been sharpened like 4 times now though, so I'm not super optimistic at this point. And even like my Victorinox's deburr better than this does. I'm guessing it's about a 57 Rockwell. I think they advertise 58, but I think this is 57, best case. So anyways, that needed to be sharpened up. So I used the Can Onion, because on knives that are a pain in the ass, like that knife is gonna lose that screaming edge like that, you know, like the first or second time I cook with it, it's gonna be gone. So, and then when it fights me to get rid of the burr, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna sit and get a perfect edge on that by hand. I'm just not gonna do it. So that's what I like to use this for. So what I did is I went to 17 degrees per side, plus the Carter Cutlery is probably 14-ish. And I went to 17 degrees per side, plus the angle of the grind puts it about 18 and a half. And then I did these are all stiff belts, X45, so that's just 45 microns, so that's pretty coarse. I don't even know, maybe like 200 grit or so, maybe 320. You know, I think it's more like 320, 350. So I did the X45, X22, which is like 800,000 grit or so, and then the X5, which is 5 micron, and that's like 3,000 grit or so. So I basically took it up to the same edge as the 3K Chosera, right? And then what I did is similar to what I did with the Carter Cutlery, but instead of jointing it on like the belt or a stone, I just pull it through the wood. And that doesn't as cleanly, like perfectly plateau and cut off that burr, but it does kind of rip the burr off. It's a little more like mangly, nasty. So anyways, I did that. And then I'm using this 12,000 grit Micromesh belt here with a little bit of chrome oxide compound on there, which I don't recommend doing because I don't think it does. Helps, it may, but I don't think it does. At the same angle. And then I did the same thing where I did a swipe, felt where it was, did a swipe, worked it in. And the result of that is a very sharp blade, but it has very little aggression. And that's my problem with these. You just can't get an aggressive blade without having a burr. So do you see how I can like draw this blade over my fingertips? There's grab there, but just not a lot. Whereas with the Carter Cutlery here, so yeah, if I keep going, I will bleed because it just bites right in. And I don't know if this is gonna work, but I got some grapes here. So you see if I just rest it on there, weight of the knife, do you see that? I just barely pulled it and it slices in. Wipe off that carbon blade. Let's find an equally slightly soft one. So this might look good too, I have no idea. So I'm gonna do less than the weight of the knife And do you see that? You see how I can pull it and how it didn't cut into it? That's because it doesn't have the same aggression. But like, will it cut? Yeah, see? So, excuse me. So aggression is the problem. And doing that technique I just discussed, pulling through the wood, feathering it in, gives you a better edge than normal. So this is like best case scenario with the Ken Onion. So you just saw how much more aggressive this one is. This one was finished at 3,000 and then stropped 1 time per side on 1 micron. So a lot less fine of an edge, right? Whereas this one was taken up to 3,000 and then done about 5 to 10 times on a 12,000 grit. Actually, that might even be comparable edges, truth be told. Yeah, I guess really they are. So I rescind that comment. Yeah, because 12,000 is roughly 1 micron, I think, actually. So they're actually roughly. This one got a little bit more time on the polish. This one did, on that high grit. But let's take a look now with the BESS tester. Is which one is sharper? So this is going to be interesting if the results are the same as they were earlier. So I'm not a pro at this yet. I got this today. I've done a handful of knives are just sitting over here. It's a mess up here. But let's just give this a shot and see what happens. I don't think you can actually see that number. Maybe I'll move you in. Angle, move. You can see that number. Okay. Let's give this a go. Okay. Here we go. Wow, 80. Very sharp. So just for the sake of time and test media, I'm not gonna do another one, I don't think. So I will say that earlier I got a 150 and a 165 on it. So I'm surprised by that 80 actually. And from all the blades I've been testing, it seems like my sharpening abilities seem to result in between a 150 and a 250, roughly. Okay, get that back on there. And then just so you know, I've got the little card here. So severely rolled edge starts at 900, a score of 900. Moderately rolled starts at 400. New high-end cutlery edges, so like your Miyabi when you get it, or I guess a Benchmade maybe, is like 270 to 350 to 370 maybe. So I'm getting at least as good as factory sharp on my lazily sharpened ones. And then a utility razor blade, so like these guys are usually around 150 to 200 or so. So that's pretty much where mine are landing. So after I sharpen it, it's usually about that. And then, and the double edge razor blade, so for your face, is usually around 50 degrees, or 50 score. Okay. So zero it out. The Carter Cutlery was an 80, but I would say the other ones were 155 and 165, I think. But let's see what we got on this one. Much less aggressive, same level of finish roughly. $170. So really sharp. This is as sharp as I get most of these knives by hand. None of these knives that I have over here, they're all from the Chosera testing I did. Was I trying to get a super sharp edge? You know, I was just trying to knock it out, get it to my standard, done, you know? So like, I don't think I spent more than 10 minutes on any one knife. But 170, boom, canned onion. It took like 3 minutes, but it has no aggression. So for most people, that should be okay, just saying. But for me and the other sharpening nerds out there, that difference in aggression, this not cutting that grape, not cutting that tomato, you know, when you're, unless you're very intentional, is just frustrating. But hand sharpening like that is just the way to go. So yeah, I'm going to be, there's a little port there. I'm gonna be integrating the BESS tester into my videos for now. I'm sure all of my tool fans, the guys that like my tool reviews, which seem to get the most views, are not going to be very interested in this stuff, but maybe you are. I certainly am, so I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, I think there's going to be some more sharpening, some more stone stuff going on around here, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I've got. If there's anything specific you want to ask or for me to do using the BESS tester, just let me know. And I would love to consider that. Yeah, there you go. A little discussion on aggression between this and hand sharpening. So that's it. Have a good one, guys. Bye.